Indiana Jones, Indiana It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we discuss the film Indiana Jones and the Atomic Ants, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
What? I'm Pete Mubbert.
I'm Gerald Christopher. Get to the river, Porter.
Hello there. I'm Alex Robinson.
Hey, look who just showed up.
All right.
Welcome back, Alex.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me back for the Atomic Ant Hour.
Yeah, try not to step on the ants. They're fake.
It never occurred to me that they might be irradiated ants.
Oh, yeah. Who knows? I mean, you know.
I like
Like
that. That
South,
makes it make
South
sense.
America down there?
Yeah, do they have a lot of nuclear activity?
I just
We'll
Are
see
the
the fallout
monkeys
from-
irradiated too? Is that why they're behaving?
Oh,
Oh,
maybe.
maybe.
That's why they're so smart, and they can lead their new human friend to his dad.
You know, that monkey, I don't think that was the first time that monkey was thrown off a cliff.
Yeah.
Seem
He knew
pretty
what he was
calm
doing.
about it.
Anyway, of course, we were talking about minute 85 of Crystal Skull, and this is the one that begins with a big red ant biting Spalko's hand, and it ends with Mutt and Mac getting shot at by a new truckload of Russians.
When she squeezes that ant, it is so disgusting.
It's gross.
That might be the grossest thing in an Indiana Jones movie.
It's a very juicy ant.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Like if someone told you that was delicious, you'd almost believe them. Like, oh no, it's like a raspberry orange, like sort of nectarine kind of thing. And you just squeeze it and you eat it.
Now, is that, you think it's overly sort of ripened? It seems like if you were to squeeze the ant, like maybe a little bit of juice would come out, but that's really, it's like this gelatinous drip.
Well, you also think you wouldn't necessarily, like if a giant ant was biting your hand, you wouldn't like say, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to squeeze it. And that's how I'll get rid of it. That's how I'll get it off
But
my hand. instead
You
of
know
just,
what?
like, swatting it away or something.
It's all part and parcel with, she's at the end of her rope.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of like,
I can't take one more ant. I can't do this anymore.
You know, she'd normally flick it off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised she didn't shoot it off.
You know what would have been great, actually, and it would have saved part of this movie for me, is if as she was squeezing it, like under her breath, she went, Jones. Like she just keeps saying Jones when she's upset about stuff.
This movie should have ended with her being carted away to a mental institution, just going, Jones, Jones.
Jones, 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 Jones.
But have you ever had ants? Like, have you ever in Oaxaca? Or, they're really good, but they're not.
Oh, had ants like eating?
Yeah,
them.
like,
no,
have you ever
I've
eaten
put down traps because they're in my house or something.
No, they're
pretty
actually really
good.
They're
I've
very
had
like
sex with an ant. I thought
citrusy.
that's what you meant.
You had sex with your aunt?
By marriage, it's okay.
They don't like gloop in your mouth. They're not like. It's not
Well,
like
where-
eating a cherry.
Are they crispy? Are they like
where did you
crickets?
have
It's like
an ant?
crunchy.
Okay.
Oh, in Mexico, they're pretty. There are a lot of places you can get ant.
How were they
it's like the-
prepared?
like with some lime on them, and they'll be like. It's almost like a caviar. It looks like a caviar almost.
Oh, weird.
Other than that, you're just eating a raw ant with lime on it. That's it. They're not like
No, they're
boiled
like-
or
they're like
cooked or
baked
fried
or-
or anything.
They're
Yeah.
like baked or yeah.
Are they large?
No, they're really small, but but they're crispy and crunchy, and it's like they're really
Yeah.
good. They taste very sort of citrusy, and they're actually
Oh.
really good. Yeah,
I've
kinda
had
zesty.
crickets. I've had like fried crickets.
Yeah, crickets are good too.
They are good.
I've
They're
had
just sort of like-
rickets.
I hear that's disgusting.
Ugh. The other
But
thing
yeah,
these
no.
ants that makes these ants unusual is they're very loud. Like maybe I've just I've never been in front of like 1,000 ants like that, but I can't remember I've ever heard an ant ever make a noise ever. But
Yeah.
these guys are pretty loud. Like
Yeah.
It's like
crickets.
cicadas or something.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the one ant the star of the show, he walks up right to the middle of her hand and he flexes first. He like mugs for the camera and then pulls his head back and sinks these fangs. It's kind of just like it's just this public display.
It's very theatrical.
Yes, thank you.
Although they
This is
say
my
that
greatest trick, and I can only do it once.
Well, that's true because they say if a Siafu ant, these are not Siafu ants because those are indigenous to Central Africa. But
What are you talking about?
if one of them bites you, you can like rip it in half, and the two pincers will still be attached to you. Like
No.
This ant probably wouldn't have let go like that.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
Weird. Gross.
Well, so I did a very brief research of Siafu because at first I was like, no, this is Indy making this up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? This is what he does. Yeah. but Pete, did you find? I found that they're indigenous to Africa, and I think maybe Southeast Asia. They're
parts of Asia. Yeah,
aren't they also? They're called driver ants. Is that right?
Yeah. But there
And
are ants. Well, our friend John Brugan, for those of you who have not read Indie Mag issue 13, where John talks about all of the wildlife of Crystal Skull, he says he gives Indy a pass for getting the location or the ant type wrong because he's not an entomologist, but he says they do have large leafcutter ants in South America. No ants in the world actually grow this big, but there are ants that are pretty big in South America, and they're pretty voracious too. So he kind of sounds like he gives this scene a pass.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So Indy says the name of the ants.
Yeah, he says
Yeah.
Siafu.
But he only
Yeah.
says it if you rewind 7 or 8 times and look up the script for the movie online and see what he actually says.
No, when you look at the script, it look like you're so used to seeing STFU, you think he's saying that, but
Maybe he is.
he
Yeah.
unfortunately didn't say that to the scriptwriter.
Well, it's a classic indie thing where he has to sort of call out. He has to call everything out all the time, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's a
He's a doctor.
scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he's wrong here.
Right.
Yeah.
So
He is.
that's
Often
what-
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But it
then
is
that's
interesting
what-
because those ants in reality, John said they can grow up to like 2 inches in length, which is pretty big.
Ugh.
And they also, I think I was reading somewhere where they actually will swarm things that attack them.
Apparently, they can devour a human in seconds. Although
That cannot
Oh.
possibly be true.
it's
I don't
well,
get
it
that.
said
Yeah.
fairly uncommon.
Where does it
But it's
go?
not-
Fairly uncommon.
but
much
would
can they
not
eat?
be out of the realm of possibility. Well, I think they swarm. I mean, if you have
Yeah.
hundreds, they're
I
maybe
guess
they're
Or there could be
walking
millions
over
of
you.
them. And they can have a caravan
Yeah.
of like
But even
a million,
if your
20
entire
million
the
ants.
surface of your body was covered in ants, it would still
Yeah.
take them time to. They're not like cartoon
Yeah, how do they
termites. where they'll
take a
go,
bite
"Meow."
and stick it in their face and chew it up and get another bite? And, yeah.
It's like how Jerry eats corn on the cob, like the typewriter thing. Like
When I lived in New York, I heard at the Museum of Natural History that to make bones clear, you know what I mean, to sort of strip the every
yeah.
poor thing. There's a room in the Museum of Natural History where they put like a dead animal they find, and then the bugs in there strip away all the entire flesh, and you're just left with the bones.
Wow.
And,
I've heard that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I was
That's
like, oh my
crazy.
God, that would be so cool to see. And then lo and behold,
Yeah.
as fate would have it, we became like, we donated money to the museum there. One of the things, you get a backstage tour and you get to see the insect room. And I'm like, oh, dude, there's no way I'm not doing this. And, I'm picturing it being like, as I imagine we all are, like some kind of James Bond villain
Yeah.
thing where he can push someone in the room. Like, no. And it was basically like a shoebox with
Wow.
like picture like a terrarium with like a steak in it and a bunch of slow moving beetles like crawling around on it. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Come back in a week and it'll be really interesting.
Yeah.
yeah, these scientists really overhyped this thing. So
Came an annual member for this.
there went my perfect crime I had planned and everything. But oh well.
Wow.
next time. But these ants sound like they might be the ones we're looking for. If they can strip a human being in seconds.
In seconds, yeah. Well, I like
we
that.
may need a ruling from John on that.
Yeah,
Right.
we'll get it. Well, when I looked it up, it was all like, are the ants in Indiana Jones Crystal Skull real? And the answer was like, kind of.
There
Yeah,
are
like,
such
yeah.
thing as ants. That's
Yeah,
true.
right. There was a movie.
But see, I like we're in the atomic age. I like that these are atomic ants. Like these are like comic book ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite them. It's like they. It's like a little bit bigger than a regular ant, but not like
It's
the
those.
whole hog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like when they're running away from it. Is it really that hard to run away from ants? Like, I think even ants running at their fastest, that's at most a moderate pace walk.
But
Yeah.
I love when the ants start coming up through the truck and like Spalco and the driver start doing
Stomping
this.
on them?
Yeah, it's like the like the Irish step dancing. It's this like choreographed thing.
Yeah.
It does make
I
you wonder.
assume-
It's why do they step? They stay there and step on them. Eventually, after Indy says, big damn ants, let's go. Then they all decide to leave as well.
I assume these bugs are entirely fake. Like every single shot you see.
Yeah.
There's no. I was wondering, like, why is this so? Because Indiana Jones is no stranger to including gross out insect scenes, but I think the fact that you knew those were real bugs and these seem so obviously fake bugs, it's just kind of like, whatever. Like it might as well be, the every Marvel movie these days ends with them fighting an army of gray CGI drones. That's what this kind of feels like. It's just like, something coming up just says threat.
Yeah, that's a great
Right.
point. Because like it was so visceral in Temple of Doom.
Yeah, you knew that Kay Capshaw had to have a thing in her, like a weird stick bug dude in her hand and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
She was in her
probably hated it.
pajamas, no less. I mean,
Yeah.
Jones,
Oh,
at least-
yeah.
he's in a leather coat. All right, he's got
Yeah.
some protection, but
And she
sheesh.
broke a nail.
Actually, I would rather be in the pajamas because I feel
Really?
like in the leather coat, if it gets in up the sleeve, it's
Ooh.
gonna be a lot harder to get it out.
No, maybe.
Yeah.
The point is
Wow,
to
you-
not go outside at all. That's the trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure you guys saw Creepshow, right? That one with all the cockroaches.
I thank you for bringing that up. I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't think anyone was going to know what I was talking about. But yes, because those
really?
were real
I-
cockroaches.
Yeah. Did,
I
I guess
love that
from
movie.
the silence, the other guys, you did not see Creepshow.
I did not,
No,
but Tom
I-
mentions it quite a bit.
Tommy showed me Creepshow.
I did.
Yeah,
I need to
well,
sit
that's
down and
probably
watch it.
1986, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, Tom, you sound guilty. You should be proud of that.
I
It's an
am. No, I
awesome
love
movie.
it. It's one of my favorite movies, hands down. Gotta show
Anyway,
it
if
to
you
my
want us
son.
to do bug gross outs, that's how you do bug gross
Yeah,
outs.
with
Yeah.
real bugs. That movie's fantastic. Should we do Creepshow minute? No, it's not. Okay.
When did the ants follow Indy, or did they follow the skull, or did they all fan out in all directions and we're just seeing that one direction?
That
It-
I
it-
assume they
is
were
a
taking
good-
orders from Mutt.
yeah, the monkeys told him that Mutt could be trusted.
They
So they're
vouched
all
for
just
him.
following Mutt.
But Indy's like, get to the river. Well, he says that a little bit later, but it's like he goes, basically, let's go. And then
Uh-huh.
the ants, they run away, and then the ants are all following them. And you're like, okay, are they, there's something, like, are they chasing the skull?
What's weird
Are
is
they
that
trying to kill them?
I don't know what ants
I
do.
don't know.
Like, are they attracted to like other creatures for food or something? I don't know. But
Yeah, I don't
but there's
know.
that shot where the camera's like on the ground and you see our heroes running away and the ground is covered with the ants going after them. But then after that shot, you really don't see any ants on the ground wherever anybody is, at least for a while, or for the rest of this minute anyway. So it's sort of like they got away, maybe. Like Devchenko tackles Indy and there aren't any ants all over the ground, and
You know what? I'm going to make you sad, Tommy.
Okay.
There is that scene where they're running away. For
Yeah.
some reason, that looks it looks like the Wizard of Oz, and B, it looks. I do not think that is Indiana Jones at all.
Oh,
I think
my
it's like
God.
it's like if you look at it, you're like there's a cowardly lion and there's a Tin Man.
Oh my God.
That looks nothing like those people we know, does it?
Oh, geez. I just looked at it. That's
I-
super weird.
I told
that is
you.
weird.
Oh,
Mutt
he's
looks
like all
weird.
stiff and like yes, he's helping Oxy run, but
No,
he
Oxley's
just
not.
looks
They're all different
strange.
people.
They
weird.
all look like different people. Like Mac
To
is
capture their stunt doubles.
Yeah.
It just
Hey, we got some screen
Mac is
time.
like 6'6" or something. It makes no sense.
Oh, it's weird.
Oh,
Yeah.
Indy
God.
especially, just it looks like he's, I don't know, some
That
dude.
he looks like some dude. That does not
Yeah.
look like Indiana Jones.
That's a good
Are they
catch.
using that like as an escape tactic, like fooling the ants into following the
Yeah.
other people?
Look at me, I'm Indiana Jones. Come get me.
Well, I can try to make you happy again, Tom.
Oh, thank you.
Although this might enrage Alex, unfortunately, because I know Alex
Uh-oh.
doesn't like talking about the toys. But the truck that comes up with all the machine gun guys
Yeah.
looks identical to the Imperial troop transport, the Kinner.
Oh my god.
Like the way the guys are stationed on it. It looks
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
exactly
they're all like kind of hanging out on the side
Yeah.
and stuff.
yeah.
And each one has a button with a quote from the movie. Yeah.
Well, this I gotta see now. Now I gotta cue this thing up. Oh.
It's not like they have like their own little compartments on the side, but they do.
No, but it kind of
they're
looks
kinda
like it because
positioned
they've
that
got
way,
yeah.
I love when that guy jumps off
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
and he tackles
Yeah.
like all of them in one shot. It was
Yeah.
pretty good.
It is.
Yeah. He's got a
See,
score to
that's,
settle.
that's a great scene. That's a great little shot.
Stunt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
great. It's like, and he tackles, and he's huge, and he tackles Ox and Indy, and it's believable, and it looks sort of violent and visceral, and I'm scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got scared.
And Oxley's an old man. You shouldn't be tackling
Yeah.
him like that. That's mean. He can get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird he tackles Ox.
I mean,
Well,
I guess Ox has
the
the
skull, right?
Yeah, so he's like the
Yeah.
main. Yeah, he's the capture the flag guy. You gotta get him.
Well, I mean, it's weird, like not, I guess, in the context of the movie, but it's weird, like that we're watching a movie where he just seems like a helpless old man. Like he's diving
Right.
off of a truck to
Yeah.
tackle a helpless
Stop it.
old man.
Both of them. I don't know if you were talking about Indy or John
That's a
Hurt.
good
They're both,
point. Yeah,
they're both
that's
kind
a
of
good
up
point.
there.
Probably about 2 years apart.
Well, that's the other thing that's weird here is we see Nazi guy and Indy get into a fight, which is classic Raiders setup.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like Mutt would be. Isn't Mutt more an age appropriate guy to be fighting this Nazi? Like
Yeah.
Mutt's like 27 years old, and no, send Grandpa in to fight the guy.
Yeah.
But like you said, though, he is immortal from the Grail, so
Yeah.
I guess he's used to taking one for the team.
Or at least a little more sprightly than he would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is interesting that they don't. It's almost like they didn't want to give Mutt these scenes. Like it was, they kind of toy with it later in the movie with the hats, but it's
Yeah.
like they didn't want to do too much where Mutt takes over the Indy role.
Well, they gave him the swashbuckling.
Yeah, he just had a sword
Yeah.
fight and a monkey swing.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, now it's time for Indy's just been driving a truck for the last 10 minutes or something. So he gets to beat up a guy. And by the way, speaking of beating up a guy, like Dovchenko's got him, you got him by the throat and by the collar and everything, and he's got him all roughed up. Then he puts him down, waits for like 15 minutes while Indy turns around and says, "Hey Mutt, son, go run that way." And then he turns around and totally socks Dovchenko with that, awesome kind of Raiders like just
I love that.
wide shot right to his
Yeah.
face. But like
Yeah.
Dovchenko he just stands there. He's like it's like the fifth guy in like a kung fu fight where like they all just kind of wait on the side until it's their turn or something. He's the only guy. He's supposed to be going the whole time.
Hey, but, the run to
he doesn't activate though. He's like the NPC that doesn't activate until you
Oh right.
get close enough.
It's that one glitch to let Indy win this time.
And she still has her gun this whole time, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good point.
Gosh. Or does Indy
I
have a
don't-
gun? Or does
I don't
Dovchenko?
know.
They probably
I don't know
took
either.
Indy's gun if he had one because he's coming from being captured by them. So I'm guessing they would have disarmed him. But yeah, Dovchenko certainly has a gun. He could have just shot him from the truck like a buffalo hunter.
Well, they do see. We do see a whole. I don't know where it goes, but at the end of this minute, we see a whole bunch of machine guns firing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
feel
I
like
don't
if
know.
At this point, like, yes, maybe you have a beef with Indiana Jones or something, but at a certain point, you just shoot him. Just shoot
That's
the
it.
people you're trying to stop.
Jones.
Jones.
Well,
Sure.
so Mutt comes back. Indy says, "Run to the river," and it kind of has a, Jock, start the engine.
Yeah.
Like
a little
for I think it's the tone of his voice, like
Mhm.
him yelling when he's running. He's run yelling, and I actually really like it.
But it's a nice scene when Mutt stops. Like Mutt's going to come back and save his dad, and then he sees how his dad can take care of himself. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'm out of here."
Well, that's what I was wondering, because my note was, why does Mutt abandon his dad?
Yeah.
His dad
See,
told him to.
I thought when you see that cannon, like that, he does a roundhouse whatever punch.
Yeah.
And it's like the cannon shot. He's like, okay, he's got this. He's fine.
It seems to me his priority should be get the skull.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. But Mutt just runs away with the other with
With
the
Mac.
other guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh,
I don't even know
funny.
where the skull or where
Or
they
Oxley.
wind up after they get tackled.
Well, he says,
Just kinda
"Get to the
rolled into the
river."
gutter.
Why is he telling him to get to the river? To get away from the ants?
Yeah.
Communists can't swim. I think. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I guess that's what it is. He's saying, get to the river so they'll survive, but they don't have the skull.
Right, but isn't the skull right next to Indy right
Yes,
now? Like
the
where
skull's
Oxley
right
fell?
next to it. Yeah, like it's like Ox has it, wrapped around his organs or whatever.
God. Well, maybe Indy's like, okay, you guys get to safety. I'll beat up this Russian, let him get eaten by ants, and then Oxley and I will join you in just a minute.
You should have
Maybe.
made that clearer.
Yeah, you should. Yes. Time out. Here, son. Just run that way, like a mile. You'll get to the river. Have we seen Indy do this exact punch before? The just kind of roundhouse to the face, like full swing, like all the way from this. Like I feel like he did that to the German mechanic. Like
I feel like
his
that's what I'm
last
thinking of
salvo
too.
against him.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
keep thinking of too. I think so. Or it did say you feel like he did something similar.
It's satisfying. I like
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a good
Yeah.
punch.
It is.
Yeah, I think 30% of Indiana Jones's popularity is the sound design RE punching.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be awful to watch it in like real life, and like it just sounds like bleh.
Yeah, just like pooh, like a
Like a little weak, high pitched peh.
Ow.
Well, it's better than just like a floppy thud, like a Ooh.
Floppy
Yeah.
thud.
Yeah.
Floppy thud. Indiana Jones and the floppy thud.
Well,
I'm trying to think of it. Speaking of after floppy thud.
Speaking of
yeah.
floppy
yeah,
thud.
floppy thud.
Well, I have a feeling I know the answer to this. Well, let me ask you guys a question. How do you
Okay.
feel about another Indiana Jones movie coming out?
I always jump on this. You guys answer first.
I'm happy and I'm fine with it. I'm going to see it with bells on, and I'm going to, I'm optimistic
bells
about
on?
it.
Yeah. Bells on the
Bells,
cover. Yeah.
bells on from the comic book
Celtics
number
3.
58. Bells on.
Oh, right.
No,
okay.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna try to have a great time, and I'm optimistic about it. I think that if you're going to do Indy 5, you kind of have an idea of where Crystal Skull landed. I think whoever's doing it is going to be like, we are absolutely not going to make this like Crystal Skull, but I'm not going to badmouth Crystal Skull. I'm just going to put out
Yeah.
a great movie that is going to make sense and be coherent, and I'm not going to be the Crystal Skull stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
I feel about it. I'm excited it's coming out. It would suck if this was the last one.
I think it is really fun to know that right now, as we're sitting here, somebody somewhere is making an Indiana Jones movie right now. I think that's pretty fun. Like,
Yeah.
Indiana,
Although
like
I think-
Harrison Ford might be dressed up as Indiana Jones.
I think
right
they're
now.
not. I think everyone got sick or something for a while.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
Never mind. Forget what I said. But it's in production.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm encouraged that Steven Spielberg stepped aside and they just got
See, I'm
somebody
not.
new. I know.
I
but
thought Spielberg this was gonna be like his, you know what, I'm gonna show him I can still do this. And he was gonna make something like very poignant and
I don't think he can.
Or maybe if he was involved, then George Lucas would also have to be involved,
Yeah.
and it would get kind of like, well, why are we bothering to do this?
Yeah. I know, but I like that a talented guy is making the next one, and it
Yeah,
sounds like they
I do
got
too.
talented people. It's got our buddy Fleabag. It's going to be good.
But is it going to be a like, are they going to do, I don't even remember what it was called, Rise of the Resistance? What was the first new Star Wars movie called?
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. Is it going to is it going to be a soft reboot of Raiders and try to play everything super safe?
That's always a danger.
Yeah.
So maybe. I mean, it might be horrible. We'll see. But I'm
Yeah.
hopeful.
I'm assuming that Sheila Booth is not returning as Mutt.
Yeah,
Is that true?
I
I don't
think they
know.
flat out said that he is not, but I'm not sure. I know
Okay.
that they haven't said that he is. So
I have a hard time imagining Paramount doing this without the hope of, like, okay, this is going to kick off a new franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like there would, like, yeah, I don't know.
There'll be
Yeah.
some kind of, if you want more of this, let's follow the adventures of this guy.
All right. Well, so you think like with Star Wars, do you think that they'll have like a Marion movie, like in 4
No.
years,
No,
or
I think
a Belloc movie?
I think when they inevitably reboot Indiana Jones, then
Okay.
they'll do Belloc and all that stuff. But I think they kind of are probably learned that lesson from the Star Wars things that just kind of creates more. Unless they want to, like, Marvel seems to be the only people who can do that. Like, no one else seems to be able to pull off that universe
Well,
thing.
I feel like the Star Wars, like the newer Star Wars, did very, very well and were well received, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Not the prequels, the other stuff like the Force Awakens, and I know a lot of people argued about what was the second one. Tommy, you really liked it, and it was your favorite director. Yeah, like the Rogue One, was it?
That's another one that people like, but the middle
I'm
trilogy
just saying
one was Last
they
Jedi,
made a lot of money, and it created a lot of conversation, and it created a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and if you're Disney, you're like, that's what you're doing. So
yeah, but I mean, they could put out anything and it'll make a lot of money.
yeah, but
If you say Star
I mean,
Wars or Indiana Jones, it'll make a lot of
yeah,
money.
but if it's like if it is an investment, and I feel like if you have if you do it well, then people come back. Like Marvel, if you do it well, then people will return for the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, doing it well isn't that easy. Marvel's
I
the
also
only
don't
ones who are doing it.
I don't think Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones like universe at this point has enough. Like,
yeah,
like, and I mean, I guess his universe is our universe. You could literally put anything in Indiana Jones.
Right.
Would he work as part of like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen thing? I would love to. I don't know. Would I love to see Indiana Jones in like a crossover event, like Indiana Jones meets
Rorschach.
You could even have him meet Captain America during the war or something.
Sure.
Like that. Does Disney own Indiana Jones now?
Yeah.
I guess they do. I mean, they own Lucasfilm. So I guess they own Indiana Jones. I keep saying that they should do a Marvel crossover and the MacGuffin is Thor's hammer. And it becomes a big indie Marvel crossover. And no one listens to me.
I think it's inevitable that we're going to see all these dumb crossovers. There's going to be some Disney. There's going to be like a Space Jam for Disney where we see all the Disney IP in one crossover event.
I'm in a weird way. I'm kind of okay with that at this point. I'm like, go ahead. I'm going to sit over here.
If we're
going
to live in a corporate monopoly, we might as well enjoy the advantages of it, which is that we get to see all our favorite characters interacting with each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
At least that's something.
It's going to be a paradise.
Well, real quick, who would it be? I mean, what movie would there be from the Indiana Jones verse? Like, what would the character be? Like the Adventures of Sala?
I'm becoming Indiana Jones averse. Is that what you said?
Well,
a universe. Okay.
Part of the problem, I think, is that the Indiana Jones-verse is for people our age. I don't think kids have a connection with this movie unless their parents are into it.
But
Well,
wait till they see Indy 5.
Indy 5, they
but
might.
kids had a connection with Star Wars already. But
True.
Yeah.
True.
This hasn't really passed down the generations like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm thinking they got to reboot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because kids probably aren't going to rush out.
But
to
all
see
right, so hold up. If they
80-year-old
reboot it, then do they remake Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No.
Not
They
necessarily, but they'll
it's
start
just-
in that era. It'll take place in 1936, and it'll be
fighting Nazis.
young
Yeah.
dashing guy
Okay.
fighting Nazis
Yeah.
and getting dirty and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
Well,
And we'll all go
I
see
could
it. And we'll
almost see
complain about it.
them. I could see them setting up like a Tomb Raider type character, like a female archaeologist who then would have her own movie, and then they would do one where they both appeared. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like a Dr. Aphra. I don't know if you guys know who.
Oh,
She's a Star Wars character that only lives in the comics at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems inevitable that she'll make the jump to at least the animation, the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Huh?
So
Well,
watch
I'm in the same spot.
yeah,
Oh, is that
so
Ron Mummert?
big things ahead for the Indiana Jones franchise with that reboot coming. We could finally get to see Seth Rogen can play Major Eaton.
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
Chris Pine is going
Yeah.
to be the new Indiana Jones.
Taika Waititi would play Marcus.
I feel like Marcus, you'd need like a previous generation. You need like the sort of Marlon Brando to be the Jor-El. You need like Anthony
sure.
Hopkins or somebody like that. Who's
It would
too
be
old,
Anthony
like,
Hopkins.
Yeah. Like
Unless
Michael
it was,
Douglas or-
It'd be great if it was what's his name? Colin, the energy vampire from What We Do in the Shadows. Mark, be a great Marcus.
He would be.
Wait, did we ever hear from Christy Porter?
Oh no, I was going to say. Speaking of energy vampires, this
we were waiting for that.
This just in from Professor Christy Porter. I'd really like to make a Jovitos joke here.
Adios, Jovitos.
Either that or maybe too bad you don't speak, Atomic Ant.
Yeah.
Too bad you don't speak Siafu.
You mean an
They're following
Atamant?
us.
Yes.
Pete,
in your research, did you come across the word, is it Doralus? For the
Yeah.
ants? Doralus. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great names for these ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Because I think Siafu is a loan word from Swahili.
Yes, that's right.
Huh.
I said it like in an indie fashion. Oh, Pete, that's Swahili.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for sticking it out with us for 3 whole weeks. You're a trooper, and our hats are off to you.
Well, it was my pleasure. I'm glad I got to re-experience some of my favorite minutes. It does not inspire me to revisit the rest of the film, luckily.
That's all right.
So I wish you guys a lot of luck.
Thank you very much. That means a lot to us. And yeah, please tell people one more time where they can find you out in the ether.
I am the host of Star Wars Minute Podcast. I am the host of Godfather Minute Podcast, and I also do art, comics, and things like that. So go to alexrobinson.fun for all your me needs.
Awesome. If you need Alex, you know where to go. You got options. And if you need us, and if you're lonely and you can't wait until next Monday, you should go check out our bonus show over at patreon.com/Indiana Jones Minute. Over there, you can get early access to this show that you're listening to right now. You could be done with this show by now. You could have already listened to it because it came out earlier for you. Or you could get postcards from me and Jerry and Pete every month. Or you could get all sorts of other cool stuff, including our bonus show, Anything Goes, where we talk about all sorts of other stuff, including the aforementioned Ready Player One and Star Wars and E.T. and Close Encounters and Jaws and you name it, we're talking about it over there. So give it a try and please come back here next Monday for minute 6? We just did 85, right?
Yeah.
It must be 86 now. 86 of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. here on the Indiana Jones Minute. That's it.
Big damn
Nothing.
ants.
All right.
Yeah.
Siafu.
Doesn't Get to the River sound like a hymn?
It does.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Very much.